On November 9th, the world was hit with two images no one was prepared to see. Both the James Webb Space Telescope and the Virtual Telescope Project released new photos of the interstellar object known as 3I Atlas, and what they showed left scientists stunned. In the latest images, the object appears as a tight, brilliant point of light. There's no hint of a tail, no outgassing, no dust or gas, none of the activity you would expect from something shedding billions of tons of material as it sweeps past the sun. And here's the part that has researchers the most unsettled. It looks exactly the same as it did back in July, when the Hubble Space Telescope last captured it. A true comet should have lost over 5 billion tons of mass by now due to intense solar heating. Yet this object hasn't changed at all. Its behavior is, quite literally, a direct challenge to everything we know about how comets behave. Some scientists shrug it off as an odd exception, others think it could be something far more significant. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb even called it a wake-up call from the cosmos. Because if these images are as straightforward as they seem, showing an object accelerating through our solar system without shedding a single particle, then 3I Atlas may not be a comet whatsoever. It might be something designed. It started in late October, when astronomers noticed something that didn't make sense. As 3I Atlas approached its closest point to the Sun, its perihelion, it began to speed up instead of slowing down. That should be impossible. According to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Atlas drifted from its predicted path by 4 arcseconds. That may sound tiny, but at a distance of 203 million kilometers, it translates to a shift of tens of thousands of kilometers. Something big was pushing it off its expected course. The numbers shocked mission specialists. The object wasn't just accelerating away from the Sun at 0.22 millimeters per second squared. It was also sliding sideways at almost the same rate. In just 1 month, it moved more than 80 kilometers off track. That's far too large to be explained by random variations or natural comet behavior. The question began to spread through observatories from Hawaii to Chile. What invisible force was steering this object? The usual explanation, outgassing, made no sense. For 3I Atlas to generate the kind of thrust astronomers were seeing, it would have needed to release about 1/6 of its total mass. That's roughly 5 billion tons of vaporized gas. Such a release would create a massive glowing halo, easily visible even through small backyard telescopes. But the sky stayed completely blank. No cloud, no tail, no vapor, nothing. To show just how absurd this was, the Virtual Telescope Project released a comparison between 3I Atlas and Comet Lemon, an ordinary comet photographed under the same conditions just days earlier. Lemon looked exactly as a comet should, its bright, ghostly tail streaming away from the Sun, shaped perfectly by solar radiation. But Atlas? It remained a single, sharp, compact point of light, unchanged, unblemished. It was like comparing a living creature to a statue, one full of motion and energy, the other frozen and silent. For Atlas to accelerate without shedding debris is like watching a rocket speed away without any exhaust. The physics don't just fail, they completely fall apart. When Avi Loeb ran the numbers, he found that if the acceleration had been caused by normal cometary activity, the escaping gases would have produced a glow brighter than the full moon. Yet the images from November 5th showed none of it. The object's brightness, color, and perfect symmetry stayed exactly the same. The Virtual Telescope's director, Gianluca Massi, called it the most baffling observation I've ever made. Even the instruments specifically designed to detect the faintest traces of dust all reported the same result: 0. When the data arrived at Harvard, Avi Loeb and his team began reconstructing the physics behind the object's strange acceleration. Using 3I Atlas's estimated mass, about 33 billion tons, nearly 1 million times heavier than Oumuamua, they realized no known natural process could explain the force acting on it. Solar radiation pressure was far too weak, outgassing left no visible trace, and gravitational pulls from nearby planets weren't possible at such a distance. That left only one conclusion: an unknown mechanism was at work. "We have to accept what the data is telling us," Loeb said. "If the physics fails, the theory has to adapt." But most scientists weren't ready to face what that meant. The implications were overwhelming, because the numbers didn't just describe motion, they hinted at purpose. The acceleration wasn't random. It was smooth, steady, and precisely aligned with the sun's position, as if someone, or something, had calibrated it. The only time we've seen behavior even slightly similar was with Oumuamua, but this time the effect was stronger, faster, and far more deliberate. As more data arrived from observatories across the globe, a clear pattern began to appear. 3I Atlas wasn't breaking just one rule of physics, it was breaking all of them. First, its orbit. The object was traveling almost perfectly along the ecliptic plane, the same flat path followed by Earth and the other planets, within just 5 degrees. The odds of an interstellar object aligning this precisely are so tiny that Avi Loeb compared it to hitting a cosmic bullseye in complete darkness. Then came the jet anomaly, a sudden burst of material shooting toward the sun, something no natural comet has ever been seen doing. Solar radiation always forces dust away from the sun, creating outward-facing tails. But Atlas did the opposite, as if it were pushing sunlight itself aside. Its speed was another impossibility. It was moving faster than lighter objects like Oumuamua and Borisov, even though its enormous mass should make it slower and harder to accelerate. And its brightness curve made no sense either. As it approached the sun, it brightened at a rate of -7, twice the intensity expected from any known comet. Then things got even stranger. The object began glowing blue. Not icy white or reddish like most comets, but an electric spectral blue, hotter than the sun's own surface. Its temperature appeared to exceed 5,800 Kelvin, something no natural body can withstand without turning into vapor. By this point, astronomers weren't just confused, they were alarmed. Because if 3I Atlas wasn't following the laws of celestial mechanics, then it was following something else. Something that looked disturbingly like control. Spectroscopic scans from the James Webb Space Telescope and ground-based observatories revealed the most shocking detail yet: its composition. Unlike natural comets, which contain random mixtures of rock, ice, dust, and minerals, Atlas showed a precise engineered ratio of nickel to iron, the same ratio used in high-temperature alloys found in spacecraft components and jet engines. Natural metals blend chaotically. Atlas's metals were refined, balanced, and organized. It also contained only 4% water, making it drier than Earth's driest deserts. This wasn't a dirty snowball. It looked more like something constructed, not grown or frozen. Some scientists now believe the object's outer shell may not be natural at all. It could be a ceramic or composite layer, heat-resistant, polished, and engineered, which would explain why it reflects light so perfectly and shows no cracks, dust, or irregular features. The way Atlas reflected light produced a polarization pattern unlike anything ever recorded. Light waves aligned with mathematical precision. No natural object has ever displayed a signature like this. As Avi Loeb put it, if you wanted to design a probe capable of surviving a billion-year journey across the galaxy, it would look exactly like this. Then came the discovery that stunned even the skeptics. When researchers mapped the trajectory of 3I Atlas, they found that its route crossed the orbits of Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, but not Earth, and its timing was suspiciously perfect. During perihelion, the moment when it should have been closest to Earth and easiest to observe, it slipped behind the Sun, placing itself completely out of view from our instruments. The odds of that alignment happening naturally are so small that several astrophysicists now believe it cannot be a coincidence. "This isn't random," one JPL analyst said. "It's intentional navigation." The idea sounds unbelievable until you look at the math. 3I Atlas's orbit is so precise that when astronomers traced it backward, it pointed straight toward the same region of space where the famous "wow" signal originated in 1977, a mysterious narrowband radio burst that SETI has been chasing for decades. Two unexplained events, separated by almost half a century, linked to the same patch of sky. Coincidence? Maybe. But as the data kept piling up, maybe started to feel a lot like avoidance. Every new image released by the Virtual Telescope project made the situation stranger. The object's deep ultraviolet blue glow, a color no comet should emit, broke every thermal model ever created. Blue light means extreme temperature and energy, yet Atlas showed no heat signature in the infrared. No decay, no fragmentation. It was emitting light that wasn't heat at all, light that seemed self-generated, like controlled plasma or ionized gas. Some plasma physicists suggested the object might be using electromagnetic propulsion, steering itself by manipulating the solar wind, technology humans have only barely tested. Others proposed something even more haunting, that ATLAS might be the leftover remnant of an ancient machine, still functioning automatically long after the civilization that built it fell. Others proposed something even more haunting, that ATLAS might be the leftover remnant of an ancient machine, still functioning automatically long after the civilization that built it vanished. If that's true, we may not just be seeing alien technology. We may be witnessing alien endurance, a device still obeying its mission after eons alone in the dark. And now, the countdown begins. On December 19th, 2025, 3I Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth, about 167 million miles away, close enough for every major telescope, from Hubble to Webb, to capture it in unprecedented detail. If it's truly a comet, we will finally see the vast gas cloud that physics demands. But if it doesn't appear, if Atlas remains the same, silent, blue, perfectly compact object, it will destroy the comet explanation completely. What's left is something far more unsettling. Could it be a probe, an autonomous observer scanning our solar system as part of an ancient survey? Or something even stranger, a device that activates when civilizations like ours reach the nuclear age, as some speculative physicists now fear? For now, no one knows. But every image, every spectrum, every silent maneuver suggests one thing. This object is watching, and it might not be finished. As the newest images circulate through laboratories, observatories, and online communities around the world, one feeling rises above the wonder: unease. The universe has delivered a new, impossible riddle, and this time the riddle is staring right back at us. 3I Atlas continues its journey through the solar system, cold, blue, and silent, defying every equation we trust. It doesn't behave like a comet, it doesn't look like an asteroid, it doesn't fit into any category our science has created. It accelerates when it should slow down. It glows blue when it should glow white. It hides when it should shine. Its path looks less like chance and more like choreography. And yet the data arrives perfectly clean, no noise, no error, almost as if the universe is forcing us to confront something we've spent centuries avoiding. The more we learn, the less we understand. Every new image shows the same compact, luminous point of light, stable, calm, and eerily indifferent. It's as if the sun itself can't affect it, as if radiation, gravity, and heat simply slide off its surface like reflections on glass. If it's natural, then it's redefining what natural even means. If it's artificial, then humanity has just stumbled upon the most profound discovery in history, proof that we are not the first intelligent beings in the cosmos. Either way, the world we thought we understood has already changed. Because the question is no longer, is this a comet? That question died the moment it accelerated without a tail. The real question, the one no one dares to speak aloud, is this. What kind of intelligence built something that can travel for billions of years, powered by forces we can't detect, guided by precision we can't explain, and still function flawlessly after ages? What kind of civilization could do that? How long ago did they exist? Are they still out there? Or are we watching the drifting relic of their memory, a cosmic ghost ship, continuing its mission long after its makers turned to dust? Dr. Loeb warned us years ago, when science refuses to confront anomalies, it becomes dogma. We cannot claim to seek truth if we only accept the truths that make us comfortable. 3i Atlas is that discomfort, a reminder that the universe has never been required to fit inside our theories. It never has. The sun doesn't ask for our permission to burn, the stars don't wait for our approval to shine. And when something appears in our sky that defies everything we know, our job isn't to dismiss it, it's to ask why. And here we are again, staring at another visitor from the dark, surrounded by a silence that feels almost intentional. Maybe this is what first contact really looks like, not radio signals, not flashing lights, but quiet defiance. A gentle breaking of the rules that forces us to look twice, think deeper, and grow. Maybe that's the real message of 3i Atlas. Discovery isn't about overpowering the unknown. It's about learning to stand before it without fear. As December 19th approaches, the day the object makes its closest pass to Earth, every major telescope on the planet will be watching. Maybe we'll finally see its true nature. Maybe we won't. But whatever happens, we'll remember this moment. The first time in human history that something from the cosmos looked back at us and chose not to explain itself. Because sometimes the universe doesn't whisper its secrets. Sometimes it shows them to you openly and dares you to believe. If this story made you question what might really be out there, don't let it fade into the noise. Subscribe. We're going to follow 3i/ATLAS until its light disappears beyond our reach. Turn on notifications so you're first to know the moment new data arrives. And tell us in the comments. What do you think 3i Atlas really is? A rock? A probe? Or the first message from a civilization that learned how to speak without words?